Welcome to the HVAC OG channel, where you're going to get over 30 years of HVAC experience. This is for entertainment purposes only. Try this at your own risk. This is awesome. We took a Harbor Freight ammo box and we mounted several, actually 6 power wheel adapters that you can find on Amazon that allows you to take power tool batteries, usually in the 20 volt range. You could actually sell them for all different ones. They sell them for DeWalt. They'll sell them for Milwaukee. They'll even sell them for Ryobi. I've seen them as well. But what's the nice thing is I'm a DeWalt and Harbor Freight Bauer tool user. Oh, this is Milwaukee. Bauer tool user. So what I figured out, and it took me a bunch of times, and you'll see this in the video where I'm going to make a few mistakes trying to figure this out and a few modifications, so it's worth watching. But we were able to modify a DeWalt power wheel utility battery adapter. Each one is fuse protected, comes with the fuses. These are all 30 amp fuses that it comes with, and it's feeding this step down voltage regulator DC to DC, which is on the leaving side of this is 15 amps protected. Now a Milwaukee battery, 20 volt Milwaukee, will not slide into here. So in the future what I might do is I might take 3 of the DeWalts off, convert 3 to Milwaukee, and then keep the other 3 to DeWalt. And Harbor Freight Bauer allows me the ability to switch back and forth different platforms. But basically there's no on and off switch on this, so I gotta be careful that these two don't touch. So let me isolate that in here. But I could take obviously my DeWalt batteries, slide them in here, they snap into place. Now I have one battery on here. Take another battery, snap that into place. So now I have 6 amps and 6 amps. I have a total of 12 amp hours at 20 volts. Remember, we're stepping it down to 12 volts, so we have a little bit more amperage because it's a higher voltage. Now, because I only own 2 DeWalt batteries with the tools I have Bauer batteries. Slide that in there, and that clicks. It actually locks in there and clicks. Okay, and we had to modify this to make this work. It's not going to work out of the box. It took a little bit of finagling and trial and error, and I made a few mistakes. Snaps in. That snaps in. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then these are 6, so it's 31, 32. So I have 32 amp hours here on power tool batteries. You could always add a few Milwaukee adapters, so now I could cross between DeWalt and Milwaukee. And what's nice about this is that as these batteries start to go down, all I need to do is basically take one battery out, okay, make sure it's fully charged, put it in here, snap it in, and then now I could take off the other batteries that are low charge, charge them up. So it gives me options. Plus, if I'm going out camping, maybe hot tent camping, this is going to allow me to now share the weight, especially if you're packing out with another person. Right? You could three batteries could go in somebody else's backpack, and maybe 2 batteries in somebody else's backpack, and then the other battery in somebody else's backpack. So it helps you share the weight. Plus, when you have a vehicle, usually a work truck, you have an inverter inside your work truck, so you could actually take that 115 inverted power from your van, charge these batteries while you're up in transit, so when you get to your final destination you'll have power. Or if you could find some like a power outlet while you're traveling out on the road, power these up. So enjoy the video. You're gonna have a good time watching this. Where to go? Drop the battery. Electronics like flashers that I use when I'm ice fishing run off of these inside another ammo box. I can show you that in another video. But what this is, it's a Harbor Freight ammo box, nothing special. I have some holes drilled here. That's for my depth finder when I'm ice fishing. So it's multi-purpose, but basically this is going to be used to power up my diesel heater. And I'll be able to power up my diesel heater with portable, small, lithium-ion rechargeable tool batteries. And when I get done, I'll be able to have 3 batteries on one side, 3 batteries on the other side. I have to add another one. And each battery has its own individual fuse protection on here, which comes with a green 20 amp, I believe, actually 30 amp fuse protection. So each one has a 30 amp that it comes with automatically. So when you go, some of the equipment that you're going to need to do this project is you're going to have wire strippers at a minimum. I always like to use diagonal cutters. Combination, basically a wire crimper of some sort. So this is a lineman with a wire crimper. Utility all-purpose screwdriver. This happens to be a 10-in-1, and an adjustable wrench or nut driver. You're going to have to purchase an ammo box. This is from Harbor Freight, the plastic one. I prefer plastic because it's light duty. Has the rubberized gasket in there to keep it waterproof. Going to need a small drill bit and some knowledge of using some basic hardware. So this is just normal stuff that you get at a hardware store, with has ability to stop it so it doesn't come undone on you. Small washer and the desired bolt washer and nut of your particular application. I believe these are all 1/4-20s. So this happens just to be a 1/4 inch in length, 1/4-20. Fender washer and basically non-slip, so it locks it into place. Okay, the thread lock they call it. When we go inside here, you'll see how I mounted everything in here. I drilled through and mounted everything. Now my wire connections I kept very simple. I bought these on Amazon, and what I'll do is, I don't have affiliate marketing yet, so if you hit like and subscribe and share, get my get my usage up so I could get affiliate marketing. So what these are lever connections. You have 3-wire or 2-wire. When you buy this particular kit on Amazon, it comes with they call it a Hot Wheels Power Wheel adapter, but this allows you to go into your battery. In this case, this is made for DeWalt. We're going to modify this just slightly so we could use it for Bauer. Comes with the fuse, comes with some wire, comes with your lever connections here. So I have the orange, in this case, on those wires would be red for hot, blue or black for your negative. So they're lever connections, comes with that. Comes with your step down transformer. And this allows me to go from it's 180 watts DC to DC converter. My input is 24 volts. My output will be 12 volts, up to 15 amps maximum. So, and these are your wire colorings here. This is your DC power supply. Red being your positive polarity, black being your negative polarity. This is my negative low voltage, and the yellow would be my positive low voltage. So in the future, what I plan on doing is maybe taking anywhere from 3 of these to 4 of these off of this box, possibly, and taking this spare and installing it directly onto my diesel heater, so I don't have to carry a battery box with me. But for now, I'm going to try it both ways. I have one on the battery box here, and then I have a spare I'm going to use where I'm going to mount it individually on the actual diesel heater with separate batteries as an option. So what I'm going to do is show you how to modify this particular plate so it could accept your DeWalt and your Milwaukee batteries. So I need to run out here, grab a magic marker, and it's really, really simple on how to modify this. What you're going to do is compare how the DeWalt battery slides in compared to the Bauer battery. So the DeWalt, and just be careful these things are not touching, the DeWalt will slide in here no problem whatsoever. Right? It meets up here perfectly, and you could see that there's no ridge or gap there. The Bauer battery, on the other hand, doesn't allow the battery to slide in all the way. And to get it to slide in all the way, we actually have to cut this top part off. Not a big deal. So if we look and compare to what I had to do here, I had to go in about, let me grab a ruler. Things I like doing as being an OG HVAC is I like to work in metric, me personally, but I also like to use a straight edge ruler. So I'm actually, for those that are in the States here, if you're using inches, you actually have to cut in about a ½ inch in, straight in, then you plunge cut it down straight. If you're into metrics like I am, even though I'm from the States and I like metric, you're going to be at least 1½ centimeters fully in. Let me compare the two here. So you're going to go, here I'll make it even easier for you. If you were to flip this upside down, you're going to go straight in and cut this off until this first ridge right here. That's it. You're going to go straight in, cut that flush to that first ridge. And you might say, how am I going to cut that flush? Well, get a orbital cutter. You could use a razor blade. You could use a body grinder. Flush. All right, here we go. So I'm in flush. I'm almost there. Try this side. Let me plunge cut down first. Okay, that's down like that. So I'm going to line it up here flat, let the blade ride that flat edge there. Curve it in. That's off. Trim that up just a hair. There we go, we're flat. See if the Bauer battery clicks in, make sure these aren't touching. Perfect, clicks right in, no problems. All the way in, it actually locks. Alright, so when I was testing this, I found out that there's a little nipple here, and that little nipple will prevent this battery from sliding in all the way. The DeWalt's not a problem. The DeWalt has a channel right here for that nipple there. So when I plug the DeWalt in, you'll see I'm going to get the 12 volts here, no problem whatsoever. There's a little nipple here for the DeWalt to make this a proprietary base for a DeWalt. So when I slide this in, bam, you know, that works great, okay? Not a problem. Just note that when you unplug the battery, it actually stores a little bit of energy there in that DC regulator. So it's just coming down slowly here. Now I'm going to take the Bauer battery we cut back on here, and when we go to slide it in, it clips in. Oh, this one made, okay? I had another one actually that didn't make. Actually no, it made, and then it's dropping back down again. So what we have to do is take that little nipple off. So you could either use your orbital cutter, or in my case, I found a nice open assist knife, works really well. I'm going to come over here, just take this off, cut it flush. Okay, now let's plug this battery back in, and we should have our 12 volts that we need here on this. That actually allows it to go up a little bit further. And I am not getting my 12 volts on here. Interesting. Good battery. Nope. Out of the wall again. That's working on the DeWalt. Alright, so what I had to do was I came back and I cut this up a little bit further. You can see the difference, how much more I cut up from this base here. So from here to here was cut now. From here all the way down to the end. From here all the way down to the end. Cut this nipple off. This should give me a little bit more reach when I plug this in to make these contact points. So here's our meter right here. Let's see what happens. Yep, that's a good click. Very good click there. Oh, now that's actually locked in now. Before it wasn't locking in. So we're going to go around and we're going to recut everything down to about here, down, and we're going to take these nipples off here. We should be okay. So we're going to cut down from here down, from here down, cut these nipples off. We're going to go around both sides, take care of this, and then we're going to test every battery individually. Alright, let's give it a try. I found out that if you line it up with the bottom screw here, either on the bottom of the opening or favor the bottom of the screw, and you cut that straight, cut that down and straight, cut that down and straight. That should be a deep enough channel for the battery. And then you have to take the nipples off up on here. So we did all that. Let's check to make sure it still works with the DeWalt battery, which we should have no problems. It still locks in, no problems. Getting our 12 volts here. Getting our 12 volts here, no problem. So let's try the Bauer. And I'm going to try each one individually. So locks in there, solid 12 volts. Shake it around. Actually, it works a lot better now that we trimmed them. This actually physically locks now. Before it made a snapping noise but didn't lock. Let's try this side here. Let the voltage drop a little bit. It's my 12 volts. volts there. Let the voltage drop. That's my 12 volts there. So all three of these are good for the Bauers. Flip it over. All right, good Harbor Freight battery right there. It's working. Let's try this. Okay, that's good. Locked in tight. All right, there we go. All right, so 24 volts is going to be the red black over here. All right, and these are going to be my battery terminals here. So I don't screw things up. I'm just going to land my high voltage first, which is going to be my red black. So those are the only two wires I left inside here, so I don't screw that up. What's neat is I have these terminal blocks here. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. These are 8 blocks in one here, which is, I thought was pretty cool. So what I'm going to do here, strip this back. It's going to be my positive terminal here. And this is a lever connection with 2, 4, 6, 8 inputs. Run this in all the way, lever it down. So this terminal block now would be my positive terminal block. And I'm going to do one over here now, and this is going to be my black, which is going to be my negative terminal block. When you use these lever connections, make sure, what's nice about using lever connections like this are good for using it for stranded wire. If it was a push-in style connector that locks, you can only use solid wire. So make sure if you're going to do this, use the lever connections. And I installed enough to get it all the way in, and I locked it down, give it a tug and a pull. So this right here is going to be my positive and my negative. I have to now take wire and bring wire to these connectors. So let me go get some small wire. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to work from your first. So let me show you from the inside here. So I have an 8 lever here, lever connection. This is going to be my black neutral. This is going to be my red positive. So now I'm going to have to connect all these wires. And I want to leave room in here so I could use this for storage. Maybe put an extra battery. I don't want to go too tight with the wires. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to take that, bend that down. I'm going to make the wire bend down and in. So separate the wire. Give yourself some room. I'm going to go to my positive terminal here. Something like that. And that should be enough wire. So I'm going to do red and black together so they are the same size. I'm going to strip off the red. I'm going to put my strippings inside there so that I could just, makes it easier when you're working. So I have my red and my black. I go to this connector here. Open up my positive and my neutral. Now they're using blue as your
negative. So make sure I don't have any hairs sticking out. Put that in all the way in, lock it down, give it a pull. I'm locked in. My negative, which happens to be the blue. Doesn't matter what color it is, as long as it's to the black wire on the other side. All the way in, lock it in, run that down, press that down. I'm going to go to the red over in here. Now it's up to you if you want to go next to it or not. Maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll start in this direction here and fill these up at the end. Just to keep an eye on what my input is versus my output, in the sense that everything is in parallel. So we got that red connected. Let's go to this black wire. Oh, duh. I gotta open up the lever. Rookie mistake here. Okay, all the way in. Black wire's locked in. I got these up like this. Okay. Let's do the next one. Right in black. What I'll do is I'll keep the wires together. I should have done that in the first place. That would have been nicer to do that, maybe. Installed on them. Well, when you're using your tool with DeWalt Bauer Milwaukee, doesn't matter, Ryobi, the tool will automatically shut down if the voltage gets too low on the 18 volt side. So I have two extra ports here, one on the positive, one on the negative side, where I could actually then install a future low voltage monitor. So this takes care of the power supply to this device. Now I'm going to mount this, and I have two wires left. This is going to be my positive, my negative, going out to the diesel heater. So the positive is going to be the yellow right down here. So if you look over here, this is my 24 volts or my 18 volts, or 20 volts, 18 volts in, 24, that's marked 24 volts. This is going to be my 12 volts out to my diesel heater, which happens to negative being black, the positive just happens to be yellow. So let me remount this here real quick. So we got a 15 amp fuse in here into the fuse holder. We'll seal this up like so, or not. Okay, 15 amp fuse in there. I like to do it halfway, so cut it right there halfway. What we'll do is we have these single connectors here, like that. Strip this back. Red for positive. Put the red here for positive. Excellent. Strip this back like this. Now, what I'm going to do is, since this uses 16 gauge, I'm going to go with the heavier gauge wire here. This is going to be our 12 gauge that I'm actually going to be using. And we have to figure out, when we have our tent set up, how much 12 volt wire we have to run. So I'm going to just roll it out and across my living room here to get an idea of how much I need. Resistive load, where we're going to have 15 amps all the time, but I'm just wondering how much I could run feet wise. Okay, so at 12 volt distance is very limited to 50 amps because of voltage drop. Okay, here's a clear breakdown. It's 1.59 ohms per fuse, 3% voltage drop, 7.5 feet, 12 feet, 10% often noticeable. Okay, so I'm going to keep it around 12.5 feet. So if your load is more than 10 to 15 feet away, you should consider 10 or 8 wire or a gauge, or moving the voltage. So I'm going to keep it at 10 feet, no more than 12.5 feet, okay? That's going to be used for this gauge wire. And what's nice about the lever connections is I could always modify it. So when I just stripped this off now, I noticed that I went too deep and I took some of the copper strands off, so I'm going to cut it flush again. I'm going to take my time. Okay, now I have a thicker, true 12 gauge wire here now. Now I'm going to take another lever connection. This time I'm going to use a black one and a red one. What's nice about the lever connections is I could always modify this later on. Change it around. Put that in all the way. Alright, no copper is exposed. Okay, so that's in all the way. Solid. Let me pull this a little bit. Cut back on this. Strip it back. Put a red in there. Cut this back a hair. Make it flush. Put that in there like that. Alright, that's it right there. This is the diesel heater I went with. This is actually 1 year old, last year's model. Didn't really get a chance to run it too much. Life got in the way, but we have all-in-one Whip Pro diesel heater. This has the improved gas cap for anti-spill. I have a year's old, all right, it's 1 year old, number 2 heating oil in here. It's almost full. It's about 3/4 full. It's been in my garage in storage. The reason why I went with this model here is because it's side discharge with the exhaust. So that's one of the reasons. So we're going to run test this guy here. It's an 8 kW, power input's 40 watts at 12 volts DC. It does say 24, and it does come with the 110 adapter actually. Let me try to find that real quick. Comes with a 12 volt adapter here for a battery. Comes with 115 volts adapter plug in here, which I have run this, and it's pretty nice. It has a computer plug on here to plug it in. Connections. So red is your positive, black is your negative. So I'll do negative first. Hit the positive. This is where the 115 would get plugged in. Well, actually, it's not 115. The adapter step down will go right there. Straighten that out like that. We could actually use the remote here to turn it on. There's a little protective screen. It comes down like this. I'm going to press the on. We'll check it. The battery just hasn't been used in over a year. All right. Came on, it's making some noise. Take the microphone and I'll set it right here so you can listen to it. Starting up. I'm running number 2 heating oil, which is cheaper. They do sell it near me at the gas pumps, and you don't have to pay the transportation tax and the road tax, everything that comes with number 2 heating oil, or you could actually use off-road diesel, a little bit cheaper. It's by me this year it's $3.19 a gallon versus $3.59, $3.89 for diesel fuel. It's hard to see the display here, but it's going through the purge and start up. I have it set for number 10. This is nice because this folds down and up, so this could be flush. You could get it in a box or in a storage container. It's starting to click. That's your fuel pump. Click in there. Microphone is right there. Diesel heater is right there. This is my air intake. This is my air outlet. The plan is I want to run out this fuel because it's a year old. Use it up. This is my remote. Little protective cover. Starting off. It's going to smoke, it's no big deal. It's all good.